Hey guys, welcome.
Hey,
welcome,
everybody.
welcome. Those all just coming in. I'm sure they're out there somewhere. They're lurking. They're lurking. Welcome, welcome. I am Dawn from Two Hip Chicks, and this gentleman over here is my better half during this show, anyway. TC, you want to introduce yourself?
I'm TC from TKR VideoCentral and the Kirkham Report.
Welcome, welcome, everybody.
Nice to see everybody.
So, TC, good time? You having a good time this week?
Oh, yeah, not been too bad. I'm
Good.
actually starting to get things organized slowly, so this office may finally be done in the near future. At the rate things are going.
Ooh, Mary's here. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Mary.
Welcome, dear. Hello, lovely wife and friend. There you go.
Has Mary been able to be out gardening the last few days, or have you been raining all the time?
No, actually, it's been pretty good.
Good for you. We've had nothing but rain the last few days.
It's been good. Tomorrow is the rainy crap coming. We'll see. In fact, it did start to rain a little bit before we came down today, this evening. So we'll see. You know, you can do what you can do, and then you work in the garage. For sure. Do what you can do outside. Work in the garage when you can't.
Yeah,
for sure. So, probably a few more people kind of trickle in, I assume, because that's how it works.
Yeah, it is.
But for Mary and those of you who are here, this week we were going to talk about finding good music cheap or
good bargains. Yeah.
Inexpensive, not cheap, inexpensive titles this is how I put it originally. Inexpensive stuff that we love and wouldn't live without. That you can always find something out there that will pique your interest, I would hope, and not be an arm, a leg, sort of body parts to try to buy it. So we can cover that first, or we can cover that secondary topic.
Well, we can do this first since we started talking about it.
Okay. All right.
You said that you got this idea from my rank this last week, where I had done the expensive stuff on Discogs, because everybody seems to do those in the vinyl community. I hadn't done one yet. I think I'll do it on rank this, and it'll make good stuff. But some of that stuff blew my mind when I was sitting there figuring it out. So, yeah.
Welcome, Livingstone. Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hello there. How you doing? We're talking about finding some decent, cheap music, which we love so much.
Yep.
Do you want to go first? Do you want to go on and off, me and you, or do you want to just kind of like?
Well, as far as I go, a lot of my collection. See, I started collecting when I was a wee little guy. I was like 4 when I started collecting records, and then I started getting into it really big when I was a teenager and 20 something, and I just happened to luck out that growing up in the era of the cutout bin. You don't have cutout bins anymore. You have dollar bins at record stores and such. But when you had a cutout bin back then, you could grab, full price albums or, good price. They have a little notch in them usually, or a hole cut in the corner for, I was telling you before the show, one summer, one store near me was getting all kinds of name stuff in. And they were selling them for 10 cents a piece, and they were still sealed, still engraved. They were all in terrific shape. Amazing. I added 300 plus records to my collection in just one summer because of that super price thing. Yeah, just about. Yeah.
Which back then was not short. It's not chump change back then, but still, it's cheap.
Yeah.
Considering what they were costing.
Before that, there's other cutout bins where you still, when I picked up Thank God It's Friday and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band soundtracks, which sold for $18, $19, $99 on disc when they came out in 78, and I picked them up in the summer of 81 for $2 a piece, brand new out of a cutout bin. That's definitely a good. You just got to keep your eye out for where you're doing it. Thrift shops are great, and a lot of times they're not in terrible shape. Sometimes they are, but and it all depends on what you like. It's all your tastes.
To clarify, cutout bins, the reason they basically have overstock. So record companies would produce a certain amount of albums with the idea that they would have a certain amount of demand. And sometimes, like with, you said, Sgt. Pepper's soundtrack, it didn't sell really well right away. So they had a lot of extra ones, and they literally notched them and discount.
It shipped gold and returned platinum, as they said. That's how many copies they moved.
Yep. So
nowadays they don't have a cutout bin because records no longer are even produced as cutouts. Right. when they started getting back into vinyl, if there's a book out about Record Store Day, and you can get the whole story of what happened to launch that. But when Record Store Day started, the labels were really reluctant to get involved, the majors. And then when they did get involved around year 3, they said, yeah, we can do this, but we're not taking returns. Everything we make, you're going to get stuck with.
Yeah.
So that's why the cutout bins have disappeared, because there's no, the places that get it are paying full price for it, which is why I said I did a contest entry for Happy Hippie this weekend, and Record Store Day prices can sometimes be ridiculous, but even some of the titles can be ridiculous. Last year they released Sean Cassidy's Wasp for Record Store Day, a reissue, and because it was produced by Todd Rundgren, they thought it would move quite well, and every record store I know that bought it is stuck with it. It didn't move at all. So it was not, I mean, I was like, why are they doing that? It's not even that good of an album.
Yeah.
So
Lemon Stone wants to know what our favorite music is. If you hang out for 5 minutes, we'll tell you.
Everything. I love everything except some. I don't care for opera, but everything else I have at least a small tolerance for.
Yeah, I'd say the same. I'm not into opera, not heavy into country, although I do have some country I like.
Yeah, I got mostly. I tolerate country because I grew up around it.
There you go. There you go. I know, poor Sean. Mary likes Sean Cassidy. She'd buy it.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, Mary? It's not going to be hard to find.
Yeah. You can, I'll give you an even better tip, Mary. You can get it on Discogs for $2 to get OG.
Oh, there you go. Go to Discogs. Look it up. Yeah, why don't you start showing us some of the stuff? So I don't know what you did as far as gleaning through your collection. Did you like go to what you had as far as on your collection, sort by price, and just pull what you thought?
Well, like I said, I didn't really pull any of that stuff because I don't get a lot of stuff that's like smaller, but I can tell you what I do when I'm searching for stuff now.
Okay. That's helpful.
My main go-to for cheap stuff are 2 places, and you guys are one of them: auctions and
I feel so cheap.
Discogs. You can go into your local record stores, independent record stores, and go to the dollar bin or the cheap bin and look through them. Not everything in those bins are going to be bad. And because, I mean, as far as condition goes, because a lot of the times, as some record people have told me, they don't necessarily put stuff in the dollar bin because it's in bad shape. They put it there because it won't sell.
Right.
And so they'll throw it in there. I mean, titles, like I was saying, like you were saying, I picked up 5 or 6 albums from you by the 101 Strings. I love beautiful music stuff. It's a passion. And I think you sold that whole lot for $10, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
something like that.
It was a good grouping, and
it was great. They're great music, and they played beautifully. They were in great shape.
The production value was good. The quality of the vinyl was good.
Yeah, always. Yeah. And some people don't always go for that. You know, you're not going to go. I mean, I'll be honest. You're not going to go out and find a Beatles if you are.
Yes, Mary. He called us cheap.
I did not call you cheap, Mary. Stop that. You're not going to go out and find a Beatles album in the dollar bin unless it's, shredded.
Right.
But you can find good stuff in the dollar bin or the the lower priced ends of things. Unfortunately, though, you had a good point with Xanadu.
Yeah. So my point with Xanadu was when Xanadu first came out as a soundtrack, I enjoyed the film. Many didn't, and they really poo-pooed it quite heavily. So it was one of those records that you could pick up in a cutout bin or pick up cheap in a used store or whatever. So I got it relatively cheap. But then let me pull it in case you guys don't know what Xanadu is.
Xanadu, the soundtrack, did well overall. It was the movie that really bombed.
So when
that was mostly because of Olivia and Electric Light Orchestra.
And this one has the full pull out and the whole for the movie and all. But the reason it's shot up a bit in price now is because Olivia Newton-John is no longer with us, sadly.
Yeah.
And ELO is actually starting to take back off again, which is kind of cool. But you can still actually, I mean, I think the median on this and Discogs is $7. That's still not a bad album.
There's not bad.
A high of 50. Again, those outliers are just bizarre.
50?
Yes. Low is 198, which is usually G plus or whatever. It's kind of the lower end.
I'm
Median is
sorry,
50
Olivia
bucks.
Newton-John or no Olivia Newton-John, Xanadu is a great album. If
Yeah.
you pay more than $15 for it, you deserve
Right.
a kick in the ass.
Yeah. But somebody did.
Yeah,
It might have been
obviously.
sealed, signed, delivered. I
Oh,
don't know what was
sealed
going on with
one
it.
sealed might be a little different if you're a
Yeah.
collector like that and you're into it for the investment, not the music. But if you're listening to it,
Hey, Mom.
don't pay more than 15. I mean, that's kind of nuts.
No, right? So Mom Knows Treasures is here. Hey, how you doing, Mom?
Hey,
Yeah, I
MKT.
know. It's surprised me. So now it's worth more, and I still enjoy it. But it was one of those that I picked up relatively cheap because
Hmm.
it's one of my favorites from my youth.
I had never had any, I think I had one or two of Olivia's albums beforehand, and I've purchased the rest of them, the other four or five I've got since I got back into vinyl in 2020.
Yeah.
And I got all of them, I think for $3 at the top, and they were all in great shape. Got them all from Adam,
Mhm.
and maybe one I think I ordered from Discogs. And I bet if I check them now, they've probably gone through the roof, which is ridiculous. It
It's
always happens
true
though.
though. Yeah, it does happen. So I can show a few of mine if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
A few is a
And then I'll
giant.
share my big secret.
Oh, you got a big secret?
No, you know what it is, but
Oh, that's it. Oh, okay. Yeah. So the other thing is, I highly recommend going to garage sales. I
yeah.
really, really do. You will find a lot of cool things in garage sales. If they have records and they don't think they're worth thousands of dollars, you'll find some decent records there. Sometimes they're not in the best shape, but most of the time people take care of them. I wouldn't count on getting any children's records in good shape though. A lot
Yeah,
of times those get
children's
trashed.
records anywhere are going to be shredded for the most part. And garage sales, I will agree with you on that. For one particular album I have, and I showed it on my Obscuria, my top 10 obscure albums.
Hmm.
Back when I was, I don't know, in high school, I picked up an album of news coverage from the Los Angeles earthquake, 1971,
Oh
from
wow!
one of the radio stations out there. And I got that thing for 10 cents or 20 cents. It was in pristine shape. It had only been listened to a couple of times. And you can still get it, but it usually is $5 or $6 on Discogs. And if it's in really good shape, it's probably 25 or 30. But it's an excellent record of history. And I've cherished that ever since I bought it. So it's been 30 plus years now.
Very cool. Welcome. I'm Zaxxon.
Hello.
Hello and welcome. What we're doing is we're covering basically cheap stuff that you can still get and is still good music. All right, a lot of these are going to be from my 20s, let's say, when I really started to start buying music and stuff.
So a couple of years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Can't even say it with a straight face. Thank you. And these will definitely represent my musical tastes. Not all of it, but a lot of it.
Right.
Because a lot of the stuff that I do like some of the harder rock and stuff, it's impossible to get cheap. It's just so
Yeah.
popular that you just can't buy it cheap. So it didn't make the pile. But here we go.
Yeah.
This is from 1971. This is not a 71 pressing, but I did get it cheap after the fact. And
Yeah.
it's Carole King's Tapestry.
Yeah.
For sure. This is a great album. The whole album's good. And if you like Carole King, or even if you like just lovely music, not beautiful music, but really good music, and
Yeah.
plus there was a lot of collab on here. You got James Taylor did a lot of music with her, and a lot of other artists. But this comes in at a low of 221 and a median of 9. So anything under $10, I consider a cheap album.
Yeah.
So there you go. Of course, high is 39. I think that also was an autographed copy.
Yeah. Tapestry is also pretty easy to find because it sold so many copies back in the
Tons.
early 70s. Then, whoever got out of it put them in, and a lot of times they're not in bad shape.
Right.
I mean, I got mine free as VCLT from
Right.
Steve at Value Vinyl. I'd never had it before, and it's
so
in
many.
great shape.
It's like
Yeah.
whipped cream and other delights. They're everywhere, and you can
Yeah.
find them. It is his good music. Also, don't be afraid to grab a copy that's not pristine.
Yeah,
because
if
it
you're
can
into
be a
the music, you
placeholder.
can always upgrade later.
Yep. Find out if you like the music with a cheap copy, and then go find it, in a better condition.
Yeah.
Here's one that was weird, and it still says $3 on it, but I only spent a couple bucks on it. It's Prism. I showed this on an Instagram post.
Yep.
Not a well-known band, but I really like the album, and it is one of those that I picked up just to see who what they sounded like, because the artwork was cool. But this is a really good group, really good, from 1981. This one is Don't Let Him Know, Heart and
That's
Soul.
it.
There's a lot of good stuff on here.
I was trying to think of the single. I'm like, Don't Let Him Know. That's what it was. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
that's the one. But literally, you can tell I got it in a cutout bin. It was $3 or something. And I think if you make friends with record store owners, sometimes they give you the $3 records for $1. And there you go.
Oh,
so yeah,
lucky
this
you.
one, and this is still cheap. This one comes in at $1 on Discogs, median of $3.75 and high of $7.55. So it falls. You can find a probably sealed copy for under $10. It is
under
worth
$10.
listening to.
Yeah.
This is why I couldn't find it. I'm going to save this one for the weirdness.
Okay.
The weird ones. So, along with my musical taste, this one represents every K-Tel album ever owned or bought. This is a K-Tel Hitline. This actually came out in 2 versions. I mean, it came out in a Series 1 and Series 2, and then they put it together in one album.
Oh, okay.
So you see it's a double album set from 1980, and it is $1.97 low, $3.79 high, and $15.95, or sorry, $3.79 median, and $16 high. But it's got, from 1980, it's got Rock With You. It's got Stomp by the frickin' Brothers Johnson. It's got a lot of cool.
Yes, but
songs.
are they the full versions or are they truncated like most K-Tel albums?
It depends. Some of them are truncated. But you know what? Since I grew up listening to this album, because this is one of the things you could afford when I was a kid, so the truncated versions are the ones I knew. So
yeah, I know. From the K-Tel albums, that's what I knew too.
Exactly. Let's see. Another good one, artist that people don't really listen to that much, but should. Mary hit me with this. I told her what this thing was going to be. I told her, what the subject was going to be, and she's like, Fogelberg.
Yeah.
Fogelberg. So yeah, this is Dan Fogelberg. The Innocent Age. Great album. It's a double album. This is the one that's got like Old Lang Syne on it, and what else is on here? A whole bunch of really good things that I cannot think of right now. Run for the Roses, which is a beautiful song.
Yeah,
Leader of the Band. So these are all really good. There's some
big
really
hits
good songs
on that album. Yeah, pretty much.
This one right here, 99¢ low, 368 median, and 20 some bucks high end. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
Fogelberg's another artist that you can find pretty readily in the discount bins, because so many people listen to him and they outgrow him and send it out, and that's fine.
That's a high. See, if you look at those, Mom, high numbers on Discogs, sometimes they're go deeper, drill down, tell it you're not a computer, and drill into the actual graph, and it'll show you that that's a one outlier, and then everything else was like $10. So
yeah,
whatever.
Discogs can be really bad on that.
So if you don't look deep enough, you can think, oh God, this is worth $30. Well, it's probably not. And there's probably 10 of them or more listed, so you got to take all that into consideration. But yeah, Carole King. So get my Carole King for $1. Exactly. It's just easy. Yeah. Compilation albums, yes. There
are artists that are you're always going to see in the cutout bins. Or the discount bins at your local record store now. You will find a lot of Neil Diamond.
Yes.
You'll find a lot of Barry Manilow.
Yes.
You will find a lot of, from what I've seen on recent video of people going through stuff, there seems to be a lot of Bay City Rollers out there
and that's why bins. A lot of these are in my bin. Here we go. There's another one. Laugh if you will.
I love that album. That album's awesome.
Okay, so this one, another one that I picked up cheap. It is literally the low end on Discogs is a penny, 1 cent, and the median is $1.97, and $12.50 for the high. But this album,
again, so it hasn't gone up that much, because I think it was $11.99 when it first came out, so that hasn't grown much.
Obviously, it's held its value.
Yeah,
not exceeded its value, but it's held its value.
People can rag on Manilow all they want to, but he has massive followers out there. I loved him when I was in high school. He was all over the radio, all over the pop star.
I can honestly say that this is the only. First of all, okay, I was born in 1960. I was a teenager in the 70s
Yep.
This came out in 77. I have never been a fan of live albums. It just annoy me. I'm
not either, except for a couple.
This is one of the ones that I tolerate well because it's just such a good live album. So
you can actually get one of the best. The best live album ever released, in my opinion. Yes. You can find in a lot of budget bins, but they're not always in greatest of shape. But if you like good rock music, you can, go off and make fun of it all you want to because it was such a cliche when it came out. But Frampton Comes Alive. Oh, yeah. Absolutely worth it. And I mean, I wouldn't pay a fortune for it. My first copy was on 8-track.
That's another one that's been multiple printings of it. So you can get it multiple different everywhere. It was like issued to, prepubescent children.
So we're not talking an OG, but we're talking value for money. It may not be the original pressing. So that's what we're saying. You're going through music here.
I'm going to go through a few more of these soft rock titles that I have in my collection. Here's another one that you should get if you get a chance. Anne Murray's Greatest Hits. This is another one. A lot of these are from the 80s, so bear with me. It is, the high on this is 25, but you can get low and median under $3. Yeah. So low is like 2. And you can tell, obviously, I got this from a dollar bin. It's in really good shape, however. It's got great songs on it. Snowbird, of course. They're just all there. I Just Fall in Love Again, You Needed Me, A Love Song, Danny's Song, etc. Daydream Believer's even on here. She did a version of that.
All the soppy hits from the 1970s. Anne Murray's Greatest Hits.
Anne Murray's Greatest Hits. That's right. That's right. Let's see. What else do I got here? Okay, and then I'm going to get in. Well, no, one more. Just chime in, kids. Let me go to the chat a minute. Mary says Dan Fogelberg is underrated. I've just found a bunch of Windows and Walls is an actually good album. And we have 4 copies of it now. But my point is,
which one is that? That's the one from 80.
Dan Fogelberg, Windows and Walls. Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to start wallpapering the office with the album covers. But we have it's a good one. I can't tell you what's on it right now. You want me to?
No, does it have Rhythm of the Rain on it? Is that the one with Rhythm of the Rain?
It's got Windows and Walls on it. That's one of the hits.
Because that's one of the later ones I
can do for you. Hang on a second. I'll pull it up real quick. Windows and Walls has Language of Love, Loving Cup. Which one were you looking for?
Rhythm of the Rain.
No.
I think that's on the last one. Okay. Yeah.
Gone Too Far, Language of Love. Yeah. It's a good themed album. It goes all the way through it and really kind of tells the whole story, which album-oriented things do.
Hey, Glams. Hey, Jennifer.
Glams. Hey, Jennifer. Who else am I? Glams. Hey, check out. We're talking about cheap ass. No, we're not. We're talking about music that we bought
inexpensively.
Inexpensive. Thank you. Oh, somebody's buying Jennifer milkshakes. Yeah, go buy Jennifer milkshakes. You're welcome. Let's see. All right. So, of course, there's 2 more. Sorry. You're going to have to bear with me.
That's cool.
Another one that you'll find everywhere.
Oh, God. Yeah.
1979, Christopher Cross.
It's a classic album, a Grammy Award-winning album, and is one of the best albums of its era. And
cheap.
Yeah, everywhere.
Because it's got good songs on it, though. I mean, a low of $195, median of $5.95, and a high of $14.99. So it does fall in there where you could get a decent copy of it cheap enough.
It has his first 4 hits are on it: Sailing, Ride Like the Wind, Sail Be Mine, and
Never Be the Same.
Never Be the Same. Thank you.
Yep, Stailing's on there.
Yep.
Yeah. So the lightest, the whole thing, Minstrel Gigolo. They're good songs that didn't make it to
the album is just awesome. It's one of the best albums of its time. Yeah.
And the second one came out with a white cover and a different flamingo, but also a good album too. And
I have most of his stuff. I love him. He's great.
Yeah, I picked these up. I didn't come back with a lot of these from my previous relationship. I lost quite a few records that I had as a child or as an adult, whatever. Of course, we're going to pull this one out. This one kind of crosses over.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
We'll talk about that later. This is a good album. This is one of my favorite Carpenters albums. It is Horizon. It is from 1975 and low of $189, median of $399. $15 if you bought it, probably sealed.
And the reissue runs about 30.
Sealed, she runs about 30.
The reissued one, the brand new 180 gram vinyl that is offered.
Is it on colored vinyl too?
No, it's on black vinyl.
80 gram would be lovely.
They've just redone all of the Carpenters library all the way through Love Lines, which is really hard to get on vinyl.
That's cool. That's cool. So yeah, Mr. Postman's on here. Only yesterday. A version of Desperado, which I think is amazing. The Eagles Desperado, which is lovely. Solitaire, one of my favorite songs on here. So yeah, good music. Happy. And the Carpenters are eternal as far as I'm concerned.
Happy. It's got Happy. Happy is one of the best songs they do ever. Love that song.
Happy is the way I'm feeling. Yeah, I know. I love that one too.
It was the flip side of Only Yesterday. It should have been an A side. I'm sorry.
We are fangirls for Carpenters.
Huge fanboy for Carpenters. Yeah.
Midwest Picker Dave is here. Holy crap! Hey, Dave. So, guys, put in the chat if you've gotten some great deals on records, or you have an artist that you would consider inexpensive enough for people to start looking into and listening to. That would be cool. Hey, Dave. Welcome. Okay, here's another one. This one.
Oh, yeah.
Picking up. Okay, so what I did was I picked this up way back in the day because they had done. Miko did a version of Star Wars, the Cantina theme and all that you guys probably heard. It was a disco thing from 77. So this is 77. Mm-hmm. Miko was very popular for a while, very short window, and now it is scorned by the vinyl community. I am not one of the people who scorn it. I absolutely love this album in particular. This is not the one with Star Wars on it. This is the one that was more a kind of a homage to Close Encounters.
Yeah.
It's Encounters of every kind. It goes from the beginning of time all the way into the future, and it's very fun. And it is now a low of 99 cents. So go to that dollar bin. You'll find it. Mm-hmm. $2 median and $7.43 on the high end.
Yeah. Miko is highly underrated. And I know that. I have practically everything he's done. I love the stuff he did.
For sure.
The only one of his that's really kind of hard to get sometimes is Moon Dancer because it wasn't as big a hit as the rest of them. Yeah. And then there was another one they released in the 2000s.
Wizard of Oz one,
early
probably.
Stuff. Wizard of Oz, I actually picked up the Wizard of Oz album in a cutout bin for 99 cents less than a year after it came out.
The cover is 70s-tastic, she says.
Yeah.
So true. But yeah, great album. If you get a chance, and I would advise, if you guys don't want to buy this stuff and you're like, I don't even know what that would sound like, go to YouTube, type in the name of the band and the name of the album, and you can probably hear at least part of it.
9 times out of 10, it's there. And if you're on Spotify, 9 times out of 10, it's there. And Amazon Music, same way. I always check stuff before I get it.
We're gonna veer into the more popular people now because
more popular with whom? That's the question.
More popular with whom? More popular with people who buy records from record stores, and you can't find decent copies of them cheap, right? A lot of these I picked up before the whole resurgence of vinyl, so I've had them in my collection for a little while. Alan Parsons, but this is still a cheap find. Alan Parsons' Turn of a Friendly Card. This is not the most popular Alan Parsons album. I would probably say I, Robot or Eye in the Sky is probably more popular. But this was the cheapest one I could find in my stash. So $1 low, $3.50 median, and high of 20, which I think was probably a sealed copy.
Yeah, that's the one with Damned If I Do, right?
So no, this one actually is the one with Games People Play.
Games People Play, okay, that was.
And it's got time on it. The Gold Bug was popular. Turn of a Friendly Card, and then the whole Snake Eyes and Ace of Swords and all that.
Yeah.
They also did one that was I want to say it was called Eve.
Yeah.
That was a good one as well. And then there was one that was kind of a dedication to Edgar Allan Poe, which is another good one.
Right.
Okay. I got fruit flies. They're coming out of my ears at this point. Now, as far as bands which people love and you can't buy enough of, but I got this cheap. Genesis, 1988. Just saying.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because that phrase, the name Genesis, brings up two things in the vinyl community: post Peter Gabriel and
And
post
post.
Gabriel's TV.
So I'm a
Anything
post girl.
after Gabriel, most of the vinyl community thumbs its nose at.
I
So
know,
there you
and
go.
that's me. I'm that girl. I'm the post. I am the Phil Collins lover.
Yeah, me
Mary
too.
is more the Peter Gabriel lover.
Okay.
So we kind of have all of them. You know what I mean? We've got
Yeah.
in CDs and LPs. We have at least all of them, or most of them. $2.98 if you're into post Peter Gabriel, Phil Collins, and $5.47 median. 25 if you buy it new. And the other thing was there's more than one variation of this cover.
Yeah.
So it came in, blue was up here, green, whatever. There was a bunch of different. I guess they wanted you to collect them all, which is kind of stupid. But Genesis, this is a good one. It's got Abacab on it. It's got Man in the Corner. They've got what else is on here? Abacab, of course. Keep It Dark, which is a good, kind of a cool song.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the chart here, the chat again. On those treasures, oh, there you are. Okay.
Yeah.
What? No, I'm both Peter and Phil. Oh, she goes both ways. Good to know, dear.
Mom says Herb Alpert, Jim Neighbors, and Kenny Rogers are easy to find in her area. So
They
yeah,
are. And
everywhere.
Kenny Rogers, though, I think you're going to see Kenny Rogers kind of pick up again. I don't know why, but I have a feeling. Especially, the Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers duets and stuff. Now, as far as rock and roll, I'm hogging this whole show. You know that, right?
That's
I'll go
fine.
real quick.
I don't mind.
I picked this up pre. This is a great album, Van Halen. It's hard. This is one of those that came in like $3, $16, and $69.
The reason that 69 is probably the OG, and it was. I mean that one pressing is everybody's grail. Yeah. So it's been repressed. I don't know how many times. You can get a brand new repress for under 20 usually.
Right. So yeah, it's all about I've never understood that. I understand it might sound better or whatever, but I love this album. This album is good enough to get in any way you can get it, basically.
Yeah.
It's Eddie Van Halen probably at his very best or close to his very best. And it has David Lee Roth bending over backwards for your musical enjoyment. Who cannot love that? Okay, so here we go. Real quick, Loverboy is semi-cheap. Come on, baby. 2, 4, and 7. So if you like Loverboy, there you go. Wait a minute. This is going to fall into that. I'll come back to this one, but Styx.
I have that one. So
Cornerstone album is one of the probably cheaper ones you can get.
Even though it has their biggest hit on it, because it's not the most popular one. Yeah.
What the heck? So yeah, this one comes in like 96 cents, $3 or $4 and $30 and from 1980. So yeah, this is a great album as well. And real quick, one more, which I didn't think of. I picked this up on a whim and loved it.
Oh yeah.
This is Tim Curry's Fearless. It's got Paradise Garage on it. I do the rock, which is just so cool. If you know Tim Curry's voice,
Tim loves Tim Curry.
He does a great job. $2, $5, and $15. So you can buy really good music, even rock music, cheap.
Yeah.
There.
A lot of new people popping in, so go ahead and shout them out there.
Hello, just a minute. Let me get my mouse. Those treasure. We've got who's here. MC Hammer Coinstar Artist. Welcome. We were talking about stuff you can still buy cheap that's good. Angry Otter, Michael, how you doing, sweetie? The angriest otter is in the house. Let's see. Veronica, hey Veronica, how you doing, sweetie? So yeah, we would love to hear what you guys have, either great finds that you have, or stuff that you picked up cheap and it appreciated, or you discovered it even though you picked it up cheap just on a whim. That would be cool. And stuff that surprised you as well. So you had did you have a list of anything, or?
Well, my biggest thing for bargains,
here we go,
is right back here.
All the 45s he buys from Two Hip Chicks.
Exactly. See
Holy
this?
Krappenstein. Was that ever record we ever sent you? Oh.
No, that's just the last shipment.
Oh my God.
Last 2 shipments. I can get 45s are a great way to, if you're just in for the songs, you can grab 45s really cheap unless some stores is gouging on the picture sleeves if they have them.
And some do.
Yeah,
Some
they do. Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's a picture sleeve. It's $5. I'm like, no.
But the 45s are, for me, I've always been about 45s. I've always had way more 45s than albums until the last year. And it's just, I'm in it for the music so much, not so much for the collecting part, but I love having what I have. But for me, 45s were always just easier. And I was always about radio. I'm a radio person, so I like the singles and I go that way, and chart hits. So that's just me. I'm the two hip chicks goddesses of 45s on the
we have
internet.
a lot. We have a lot, but we buy them. See, that's the fun though. Now I have like the best job ever because I get to pick up tons of 45s, go through them, listen to them, and then sell the ones
and
I
then
don't.
sell them to other people.
Exactly, and share them with other people. Otherwise, sorry about that. Otherwise, they just go to rot in somebody's garage or something. So
you might make use of that bug zapper you were trying to sell yesterday.
I gotta find it first. They're fruit flies. They don't connect with that. Those fruit flies rarely do. Okay. But yeah, too lazy to babysit my turn
Yeah.
There you go.
So the other thing that we were talking about over the course of this was something that popped up over the weekend from Norman Maslow, aka Mazzy, one of our elder statesmen of the vinyl community, going nuts over wacky and silly gimmicks involving album covers. Now, Don just brought one of those up. This is Styx Cornerstone. I have it out of my sleeve, so
I'll let you do it.
Yeah, because I did just notice yours were sleeved. Album, you're used to seeing, regular albums with a sleeve. You want to show anything that's open there. If you got something open where you can just like pull it out and like a regular sleeve. But Cornerstone is weird. Is it when you flip it over, it's not a regular album cover. Don actually has the album cover there. It opens up in this weird ass configuration with the lyrics.
It's supposed to be a Cornerstone. You notice it's the same Cornerstone that's on the front cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and then you get this thing,
Space,
which has, I guess, some weird meanings, and the record is normal, but it was like, this is the weirdest album package I've ever seen.
That's pretty weird.
It's flimsy. You got to be careful because it's really, really lightweight, which is why I don't play it very often anymore. But it's crazy. There were certain
You talking about the vinyl being lightweight? The vinyl is lightweight?
No, the actual sleeve. It's like half the thickness of a regular album.
It's not. It's not at all supportive.
There were a couple of acts in the 70s that had a penchant for doing weird covers. We talked about one of them. Oh, excuse me. We talked about one of them a second ago. One of them was Bobby Sherman. I think every single Bobby Sherman album had some sort of gimmick. Now, when I first got Here Comes Bobby, it just came with this sleeve. This is not an album cover. It's a thicker paper, but it's made to look like an album cover. And this actually goes inside of another cardboard album cover, which I never got, so I have it in a plain sleeve.
Many trees have died to take care of Bobby Sherman's need for publicity.
Pretty much.
Strangeness,
Another one he did in the middle of the 70s, which drove me crazy, was this album, Portrait of Bobby. Now, this is not the actual cover because I took the portrait off of it. The portrait was... there was a perforation here, and you could tear off that portrait and then hang it up or
like 3
whatever.
Higher, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember. It was pretty big, but once you took it off, of course, you still have the album. But because the portrait was on the left side and folded from the right to the left, it means that the front cover of the album is actually the back cover of the album, and the back cover of the album is actually the front cover of the album. So when you put it in the case over here, I have to put it in like this. Remember, it's reversed.
Or turn it upside down. These were your options.
Carpenters.
Oh yeah,
also,
I got that one. Well,
this one.
Which one do you got?
This one was the Tan album in 1973. Doug Anderson brought this up on his answer to Mazzy. This is an envelope. It's an envelope, basically. Yeah. And you can see the flap there. I'm not going to take it out.
Original pressings came out with that. After a while, they just made it a
they made it a regular one. We fold the flap up and fold this part of the cover up over, and then you're supposed to attach it so that it sits up on your desk with a portrait of Karen and Richard Carpenter from the inside.
God knows we all wanted to do, right?
I did. When I was 8, I did it.
Okay, well, I got that one. I'll see you, and I'll raise you this one.
See, now and then doesn't bother me that much because it's just
it annoys the heck out of me.
It's a triple
fold because, all right, what's cool about that one is it does this, which is neat, I guess, if you want to put the poster up on your wall.
Yeah,
like Karen and Richard driving around in a car
in front of their home. Yeah,
exactly. There you go.
But it's pretty standard when it comes to the sliding thing. A Song for You. Another one they changed later, but when it first came out, it had this annoying little flap on the side.
And it was is that the one that's more, it's not shiny, it's more like really fluff?
Yeah, it's matte now. You can actually feel it's like fibers that are there.
There you go.
Yeah, and there's Horizon. I won't bring mine out. Horizon has the envelope feel from the up.
It's like, God, people. So yeah, in the 70s, they were really into it for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why.
This is one of those albums I got for 10 cents at Hex that I told you that was brand new. And this also has a gimmick. This is the Raspberries. I think it's the second album.
Please Go All the Way, Raspberries.
Yeah, this is the one with Go All the Way on it. And I don't know if you remember, Dawn, because you're a little older than me, not much. And it's just like in the stores.
So far, I'm cheap and older than you. Go. Continue.
There would be.
No, don't let me stop.
Honestly, it would be wrapped in a single piece. There's no name on the album. The name was on a sticker that was scented with raspberries. And it was when I got it, it was still that way. And you can still smell it 40, 50 years later.
Good Lord.
It still smells like raspberries. And it's been open and out of its shrink for 30 years. But I mean, this is in mint shape. I got it for 10 cents at that cutout bin.
So basically go sniffing into the dollar bin and you may find something like that.
Yeah, this one and Fresh Raspberries, which is one I don't have, both had raspberry stickers on them that had raspberry scents. If you smell raspberries in the record bins, chances are you're going to find a Raspberries album from the 70s.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
And then there's this. The card has long since disappeared. But when the Partridge Family released their Christmas album,
oh yeah,
it came with a giant Christmas card stuck in a slot in the front of the album. You take the envelope out, and the slot disappears. Now the card, I just bought this as a copy, and I thought the card was with it, but it's not. Just the envelope was there, which is kind of irritating. But this is another one of those little gimmicks. Later on, when it was repressed, and also on the CD repress, it has the card's picture just on the cover. The picture of the group with the Christmas tree is on there.
Yeah,
which is what the card was.
Well, they also didn't they also do like a shopping bag where you got a shopping bag with it?
Yeah, you got a free shopping bag with that one too.
A book. I think one of them had a book cover or something in it.
Yep, that was up to date. That was the second one. I just recently picked this up too. I already had it. This is the DeFranco Family's album from 1973. Heartbeat Is a Love Beat.
Oh yeah.
My copy for years I had dismantled it because it comes in the back with this cutout bowl of some sort of Tony DeFranco, which you're supposed to put together and use for like knickknacks and stuff. I got a brand new copy. I forgot where I got it for $7, and I'm like, okay, I'll take it. And it's a good one because mine is still in great shape, but I don't have that little bowl thing anymore. I haven't had that for years because I took it off and made it when it came out. I didn't know.
Atomic Scratch and Sniff. It's got a half-life, is what she's saying. On those pressures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing like Scratch and Sniff with a half-life.
Mazzy pointed out that Madonna's Like a Virgin album still smells like patchouli.
Oh, lovely.
She had patchouli put into
it could smell worse.
Sleeve. And the OGs still smell like patchouli. This one is one I picked up from Discogs seller because it was for $1. Because nobody else would buy it. Let's be honest. It's Les Crane's Desiderata.
Why would no one buy that?
Yeah. See that notation there in the front? Where's my camera? Deluxe poster.
Yeah.
You're looking at it. It's right there.
That's it.
It's part of the cover. You take it off and hang it up, and it becomes. And then your album cover is actually just pretty much blank, except for the Les Crane Desiderata on the top.
Okay. Interesting. Mary
Finally,
said she had that Partridge Family album with the shopping bag when she was younger.
Yeah. I still have the album. I don't have the bag. I got rid of the bag years ago. When this was out, this is broken. It doesn't work anymore. But a lot of artists put out stuff with like goofy stuff on them, where you could spin it or whatever. Bobby Sherman had one which from Getting Together, which had a TV and you move the wheel and it changed pictures. The original Grammy-winning Electric Company soundtrack had a Fargo North decoder on the back.
North decoder. Yep, I remember.
And the wheel is broke now. I can't do it, but you can see it on the side here. And when you turn it, it's basically covers all the songs on the album. There's something about each one in order. And that's just some of the crazy kind of gimmicks that show up in I mean, the 70s seem to be some late 60s and mostly the 70s seem to be the decade where they did that kind of stuff.
So I hear you. All right, I'm gonna make me big. Hang on. Here we go. Roberta Flack. I just sold this today. Her piano. You can open up and get the piano open, and then you can get the album out of there.
You know what always bugged me about this album cover? I have this album too.
Yeah.
Two things. One, the album comes out halfway when you open the top one. If you open the bottom one, you can't get the album out. And number two, why didn't they find a picture of her playing the piano? You're not playing a piano if you're holding a damn microphone.
You're standing behind the piano. The poor schmuck is shorter than you. I don't know. One of those. You got to worry about it. What the hell?
That always bugged me.
Okay, everybody has this or had it or knows about it. This is the Sticky Fingers Rolling Stone with a zipper, and I believe this zipper does still work. That was the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Yep, there it goes. And of course, a lot of these get ripped because people are, of course, looking to see what's in the zipper or behind the zipper. And it's usually not much of anything, but you slip the record in there like that. There you go. That one, and then the one that I hated, I still hate. In fact, I cussed it out earlier talking to you. Alan Parsons Project.
I've never seen this one. I have to admit.
Stereotomy was produced. Remember the 3D glasses? One cell is blue and one is red, and you know, it's kind of like a decoder ring thing going on. Yeah, watch Don handle that zipper. Exactly.
Shame on you.
This is the same thing where they printed it. You had red on one side, and you had blue on the other side, and you had to. Jimmy, this stupid vinyl is a pain in the butt. I highly recommend never buying this album if you find it in this state. This is an original pressing. And then you pull it out, and of course, half of it disappears, if red or blue, depending. But yeah, that's the original Stereotomy album. So depending on which cell you put towards the front, you got a different version of it. And then they had the audacity, like I said earlier, was to put it in this stuff. Yeah. And I kept it in this stuff. I don't know why. It's probably going to ruin the album. I should probably put it in a regular archival sleeve as soon as humanly possible. I didn't realize that, but yeah. So those are the weird, stupid things.
I mean, just to give. I mean, the one that Mazzy showed, the Jefferson Airplane album, came in a grocery bag, basically.
Hey, Bill.
That was nuts. I've never seen anything like that. I've seen that album, but I didn't know that's what it was.
Bag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was crazy.
Yep. I don't know why. It's witchcraft. True, Bill. True it is. Yes, the zipper the zipper is a problem on this one for a couple reasons. Number one, people rip it open and tear the cover. Another thing is whatever you put next to this in your slotted record collection would get, I mean, that zipper is not kind to the album next to it.
You know what I was thinking when that was made? I think, wasn't that 68, 67, somewhere in there?
I believe so.
It was one of the 60s albums. Yep. People had those those racks that they used to sit on top of their stereo systems, where they would just slip in one album, and that would separate enough from the zipper to the
Yeah.
next album. But most people don't do those anymore. Most people have them all
No,
right
most
together.
people
So
have them
you got to have
crated
some
or
protection on that
right.
one to get it to work.
You would need to put like padding.
Yeah.
Strap it depends right here.
It needs an extra sock or two.
It needs an extra sock, possibly even maybe a Band-Aid just over the mom has a Velvet Underground with the
Yeah.
banana.
Yeah.
I had peeled a banana. I truly must admit I peeled a banana. I got a copy of that in a bin somewhere, or maybe I picked it up at a garage sale. Or maybe it was an Amazon return. I can't remember where I got the copy of this stupid thing. And the wrong record was inside of it. It was a Velvet Underground album, but it was not the right one.
Oh.
So literally, I had the cover and I don't have the album. Still got my banana, I guess. Still have two of those racks. Bill does those, and I also love the Ronco. I believe it was the record thing that flipped them forward. If you
The
pulled one forward,
K-Tel record
it was
selector.
K-Tel. There you go. Flop, 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 flop. Gravity is a wonderful thing.
You saw I sent you Ben's demonstration of that, did I not, on video from Oddity Archive?
Yeah, I
mean,
saw
he ruined a few bad records trying to get it to work right. It's
just
funny as hell.
They all have to be balanced. I mean, they all have to be single albums, and not. I mean, they have to be of equal weight, I guess is the best.
He
way
had
to
one
put
of the newer ones. The original one that I had was actually a full size album size. The newer ones were smaller.
No,
and
these.
so
the big ones. The one I had or saw.
Yeah, I had the big one. And I loved it for single albums. I put my most listened to stuff in it when I was a kid. I got rid of it when I was like 20, 21. But that was what I wanted for Christmas under the Christmas tree when it came out in 72, I think it was.
Because it's cool as hell, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I would love to hear from the rest of the chat and anybody out there on what great finds or, whatever you have that you bought on a whim and you found was good music, or somebody told you about it and you discovered it and it was great and it's somewhat inexpensive and, it's not too hard to find for other people to maybe turn them on to it. 45's in a jukebox. I used to, yeah, Bill, I know, I did too, and then I had to get rid of the jukebox. So now I just stack them everywhere. They're everywhere.
I wish I had the room for a jukebox. I'd get one in a second for
it's
my
on
45s.
my list. It's on my list. But yeah, right now I've got more 45s than would fit in one jukebox. That's
me too. I'd get them and rotate them out every month or something.
I would literally need one for every freaking decade, I swear, or more. Maybe every 5 years, but yeah. So, but definitely I agree with you that 45 singles are the way to go as far as cheap music.
Yeah.
Way to find whatever your genre of choice is, and some that aren't. You're going to find some decent stuff out there. Barn,
hey, there we go.
Hey, Big Barn, you got 2 jukeboxes for sale?
But
I have
what's
to
the
come
shipping
to
like on them?
Texas
because I can't get to Texas. She's in Michigan and I'm in Massachusetts. There's no way they're going to get to Texas for that.
No, but I appreciate it, buddy. We'll find one. We'll find one eventually.
45s. If you go into well, what do they call those? Reseller stores, like Savers or Goodwill,
thrift stores or whatever. Yeah.
You go in there, you can probably find 45s for 10 to 25 cents a piece. The problem is a lot of them are not going to be in great shape, but you can bring them home, clean them up. Some of them not necessarily work, but you haven't lost that much in the long run. And if you really like something, then you can look for a better copy on Discogs or wherever and see if you can find it for cheap. That's what I've done with, most of mine.
And don't be afraid to ask. I mean, if you're not into reselling, pretend you are. Because you can walk in there and go, how much you want for all of them? It's my favorite tactic at this point. The most recent one I went to, we were just hitting, we dropped off some stuff in an auction house. We were going through town, a small town, stopped in, and they had boxes of them. Some, they were marked $2 a piece, some of the 45s, and then some were marked $25 because they weren't in plastic. They had literally put them in sleeves that were made for comic books, which is crazy because they're not quite wide enough. But and there was some were good and some weren't. I mean, it's a mixed bag. So I just asked him how much for all of them, And the lady got on the phone with the boss, and the boss, he wanted to get rid of them. So I literally ended up picking up the whole lot of 4 boxes and 2 really cute little 45 cases from the 60s, like the little handled ones with the
Yeah.
kids rocking out at the jukebox,
Yeah.
for like $80.
That's
And
a
that's
damn good
cheap when
deal.
you break it down per price per disc. I
Yeah.
mean, there were hundreds of records in these boxes of
Mhm.
45s. So it's a good deal. It's per piece. It's very cheap.
Even if you lose some, you're still making quite a bit
Yeah,
there.
I mean, yeah, there
Yeah.
were a couple cracked ones so far. I've gone through 1 box, and that's about it. Other than that, I'm finding that once you clean them up, and there's a little time consuming there, but that's the fun part for me, cleaning and listening to them. There's some good songs and there's some good stuff. I've added a few of them to my collection, in fact, which is ever growing and never going to stop.
Yeah. Oh, I know that feeling. It
Hey,
doesn't
Paul.
help that you're a major supplier.
Welcome, Paul. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And what I
45s are
don't
my
keep, you
drug,
do.
man.
Yeah. What I don't keep, obviously TC ends up picking up, but yeah. So basically, the
Oh, no.
vinyl's
Not just me. Not just me.
not just you.
We've
No,
got a whole group of people that
Mom
come to
knows
Johnny's
treasures.
auctions, MKT,
Yep.
Glamas,
Glamis
Darlin
picked them up.
Darlene, a
Yep.
couple of other people. They pick them up. I've slowed down. I
You
don't
did.
buy stuff that I've already got now
But I
because
noticed
I
that.
got
Show
too
that
many
box
of them.
again. No, show that box again, Mister. I'm slowing down. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, but that was 1 package each week for 2 weeks. So that's only or 2
I'm not here
packages
to
each week
shame
for
you,
2 weeks.
dude. I'm
But
not
I'm
here to
just
shame you.
well,
You
you
get
should
some good
spend the
deals.
time putting them in Discogs.
That's the fun part.
That's what I do every time they come. It took me 2 days to do that one because I split it up into each shipment. I did one day and one the other day because if I tried to do it all at once, I would have gone mental. But I've only have 4 of my own boxes in Discogs, so I'll be going through those in the next few months, putting them all in, and that's going to make me mental too.
So Bill Stoner's got 4 Xerox boxes full of cassettes. That's another medium that
Yeah,
is really cheap. Cassettes are
and
cheap
slowly coming back.
and slowly coming back, and they're not that hard as long as they've been kept in a fairly decent, controlled climate. And I'm not saying they need to be like hermetically sealed or anything, but if they're kept well, and even if they're not, usually the only problem with them is the felt pad comes off. It's a dot of crazy glue and some tweezers, so it's not that hard to fix those and still have really good collection of music on cassette of all things.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are good. Those are doing real well. So good luck finding those. They're out there somewhere. And Paul's saying, do you purchase any new vinyl releases? I do. In fact, I just picked up, in a moment of weakness, at a Target store.
Mm-hmm.
I just picked up a double album of Queen's Greatest Hits on red vinyl.
Yeah.
So
There's no shame in getting them from Target or Walmart right now
yeah.
because and a couple of the other big box marts, because as much as I prefer using the independent record stores, they are offering exclusive vinyl colors, exclusive tracks,
Yep.
and usually at a deep price. And a lot of other, it's becoming less and less of a stigma in the vinyl community when they do that. I noticed quite a few people who last year would only go, "Oh, you got to buy from an independent record store," are now going like, "Hey, psst,
No,
got this
but
at
I do
Target.
both.
It was on sale."
Yep,
So
I do both. I do both.
I do too.
And especially
Although
if
I
I'm
haven't
looking for
bought anything
something
recently.
specific, if I'm looking for a new release specific, I will go to my local record store. I won't go online and get it.
Well,
Tapes get
there's
moldy also.
also
They
the
do.
fact that a lot of the big retailers are only going to carry the current top 10 and then classic catalog titles that they know will sell, Beatles and such like that.
Yeah.
So, and which is the only way they can do it because
Yep.
like everybody else, they're going to get stuck with them.
And you can usually get a local record store to order you just about anything that's available. So that's cool.
Make
Tapes do get
friends with
moldy
your
for
local
sure.
record store, everybody.
For $1, I picked up old Capitol record called Jazz Ultimate Bobby Hackett and Jack Teagarden. And I love it. It was a really good $1 investment. Yep, see? Jazz is a very, very popular, so I'm kind of surprised you picked it up for $1. That's great. But again, it also depends on the record store. If you've got a record store owner who's into a specific genre of music, he's going to obviously draw those customers to him. He will stock that stuff, and anything that falls outside of that genre, he will put at a discount because he's not really interested in making money on those. So
Yeah.
he'll pretty much put it in the dollar bin or the discount bin. So
And
get to know your record store owner, find out what their taste is, and then determine if your taste alters from that at all. Those are where you're going to find your deals.
chances are good that those kind of record stores, we have one in Brookline, no, Somerville, that does mostly underground punk and college music, and they often have suppliers where they can order stuff for you, which some of the bigger record stores may not have. They may not have, be able to get it the way these guys can because they build up their contacts.
Exactly. So all good, I say. I think it's 7:00.
Yeah, I think it is too.
And we just got started, it feels like. This was fun.
Give me a second here. I want to check something
Wait,
real
what?
quick because I just got a art of resale. I gotta look it up. Let me pull it up
Oh,
here.
it's Paul Antonelli.
Okay, where are you?
I didn't realize that, Paul. That's cool. He's in Florida right now.
Is that the one? I don't know if that's the right one.
It was not a record store, so sorry, but it was a YouTube sale. Oh, even better. That's cool. Yeah, there are many avenues to find vinyl. So I'm glad you got a good deal on that.
Yeah, Paul, that's Vinyl Index at 1 Bow Market Way, number 25. It's upstairs at the Bow Market Center. I went once. I couldn't find anything that I was looking for because I was trying to buy for somebody else for a lottery prize, but I didn't know they were that specific. They had a few general things, but most of it was more specialty. But it is a nice place, and the people that work there are really, really cool.
There you go. Well, since she got it, Nancy Wilson. Yeah. Never heard her. She's darn great. She sure is. For sure. All right,
Nancy
sir.
Wilson was one of my favorite my mom's favorite singers. She loved her.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right, sir. I'm going to give you the floor for a second and talk about where you're going to be and what you're going to do before we say goodbye to everybody and thank them so much for coming in.
Well, you can catch me on TKR VideoCentral with my daily Obscuria Vaults every morning at 11, Monday through Friday. I do some weekly programs in addition to this every other Monday. We do Influencers on Tuesday, Rank This on Thursday, the Kirkham Report on Saturday, and the Radio Retro Countdown on Sunday. All of those are loaded at 4 p.m. Eastern. And I got some other stuff in the works that'll be coming up soon. And the next episode of Finding Your Music Mojo will be on my channel on, let's see, November 8th at November 7th at 7 p.m.
Time sure flies, kids. For sure. Yeah, TC is the hardest working man in music, I tell you, at least as far as YouTube goes.
I don't always get all the shows up every week, but I try.
I don't know how you do it. I just don't understand it.
I don't know how I do it either. But
No, right?
you do like your own shows, you do auctions, and you're doing everything else. Plus, you're doing stuff outside of that. All the estate sales and stuff you go to. It's like I don't know how you keep up with it all.
Thanks for doing that for me, buddy. He just told you everything you need to know. You can find TC's link to his channel down below in the comment section down below there. In the what do you call that? The area of interest.
Show notes.
That too. Yeah, so for sure, go check out TC's channel. He's got a lot of cool shows, and he produces a lot of wonderful content. And he's a walking encyclopedia when it comes to the Billboard charts, etc.
Well, I'm not walking inside. I have the encyclopedias I can consult here.
If he doesn't know it, he knows where to find it. Let's call it that. And for me and Mary, of course, you guys know Tuesdays and Thursdays we're on Chick Chat at noon Eastern time. I am following this guy around back and forth. We share the Music Mojo at 6 every other Monday on each other's channel. So, like he said, in 2 weeks, you'll find it over on his channel where we'll be talking about, I don't know what. Why don't you guys put something in the comments if you want to talk?
Please give us some ideas. We'd love to hear from you and on what you'd like to talk about.
Love that. That would be so cool.
And thank you, Art of Reselling, for subscribing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, seriously, you won't regret it, Paul. You will not regret it. So other than that, we're doing the way TC and others get their music, I guess, is we're doing auctions, and we do we do a Wednesday Hump Day Auction with Johnny on Cajun Roots Reseller channel. That is at 2 on Wednesdays, and it runs till about 6. We co-host with that, and we bring 45s there. Also, we're doing Death Pile Clearance with Melanie Lightbeam and BMO's Mercantile on Melanie's channel at 1 o'clock on Mondays, where we bring everything else. What are you laughing at?
I'll tell you after the show.
Okay. And then, of course, we're popping up here and there. So appreciate everybody for coming in. Let me pull us both back up. Any final words? You're going to tell me after the fact, right? Whatever that was.
No, just everybody have a good time and always look good for good music. And if you ever need some help with figuring things out, Dawn or I can answer it. You can let us know and drop a comment or whatever. We can look it up and help you find it.
And we're sincere. We would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment regarding if there's a topic you want to go over, music related, or if you have questions or whatever. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to come on and share your collection of interesting or unique or even just inexpensive finds, that would be cool too. We would love to hear from you. So go ahead and let us know. Other than that, we're going to get out of here and give you guys back your evening. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming in, and we will see you next time.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Two hip kicks. Two hip kicks.